Hello everyone. I have to tell you I'm really excited about some new live food I've got coming. I do Grindal worms. It's like Grindal worms for me grow like 6 months out of the year, then the mites take over. I don't know where the mites come from. I've sprayed I do everything I can to get rid of them and they still come. So I've decided that I think the mites are actually coming out of the potting mix. So I took my potting mix and I put a bunch into an aluminum bag. I put it on the barbecue grill and I gave it more than 30 minutes at 400 degrees and then I let it just naturally cool. So this stuff has been really baked. I'm hoping whatever's in there that's nasty is going to be dead. I got a couple of nice plastic containers. I'm going to cut some air holes into here. I'm going to use a razor blade. You could use a knife, whatever you can use. Just going to cut a little breathing holes in here. I'm hoping I have enough potting mix for 2. When it gets here, I haven't got here yet, so I don't really know what's coming. Other than, as like everybody, they say it's a big starter. So I'm hoping it's big enough I can split it. So I'm going to cut a couple of breather holes in these containers. Okay, got that done. I cut some of that, you know, those big bags of filter material, and you cut what you need. Well, I cut a couple of those, so I'm going to use that to stuff in. See if that will keep whatever it is. I don't think the mites fly, but I don't know where they come from. But see if that'll slow them down. It ought to keep the other critters out. So got that done. So there's my 2 containers, 2 lids. Here's my containers. Now let's see how big a mess I can make opening this bag up. This is the same potting mix that I use for the white worms, except I've cooked it. There, you can see what that looks like inside there. I thought about it. I could have added some water so that I would get a steaming effect, but I decided to just cook it. Okay, so there's one. There's another. I actually got more than I need, so I probably have enough down in there for a 3rd. So I'm going to close this up real good, set it aside, and now I've got 2 containers ready. Here's the lids. You make a single hole on one end, then with a little luck you can stack them like that and get several going, and each one can breathe. So that's why I cut the hole just at one end. So we'll continue this. I'm counting on the post office to follow through and make their delivery today, and we'll see what my worms look like when they arrive. Okay, my priority box is here. It's going to be my Grindal worms, and figure out how to get in the box. And the box is insulated. It looks to be packed very nicely. I'm going to make a mess for sure. Okay. Big rubber band. You know, the worms are as sensitive, if not more so, than fish. If you don't pack them right, you're just shipping them stinky mess. So that's enough of that. And I got a bunch of worms here climbing out the corner. That's a good sign. You know, it means they're hot, but they're still crawling. Hard not to be hot. It's in the mid-80s outside. So, get the tape off. Pry the lid off. I'll take their word for it that there's worms in here. There's a bit of an odor, so I know the worms have gotten hot. I can get a few here off the corner. I'm going to have to work for every worm I can get. You can see there's a few there. So I'm going to take a little smelly. There's a few there along the edge. It's a little hot to be shipping these things already. So, I think I'm going to have to really work the scrounge. There's a few up here in the lid. Why does a squirt bottle always go dead when you need it to work good? So, well, that's every worm I can get out of there. Container aside. And a few pieces of dog food. Some people use cat food, fish food. This is the dog food with no artificial colors, flavors, whatever. It's a very, very healthy dog food that we feed our dogs, so we'll give that to the worms. And give them just a bit of a splash because there's nothing on that dirt. Would have hoped for a little richer culture than that, but that's what you get when you order things. You never know what you're going to get. So I've got them divided up into 2 containers, and we'll hope for the best, but it'll be a while before I can feed any of these. But anyway, that's how I do it. You know, you don't need a whole lot of worms to get started. It's just a question of how long it takes to get enough up there that you are feeding them. And always the problems with worms and any live food you get, it's the same as the fish. They're very temperature dependent. In many ways, they're more dependent on temperature than even fish are, because maintaining a temperature in a box, even if it's insulated, is strictly a function of the mass difference. And that little container with a little bit of dirt in it has almost no mass, so the temperature changes very quickly. At least with fish, you've got all that water. It's got to fight to change the temperature of the water before it cooks the fish. And in the worm case, there's no water. So the temperatures will vary very quickly. And the Grindal worms and microworms, whatever, are pretty sensitive. People are always asking me to ship white worms, and I tell you, for something that dies at 70 degrees, they're really, really hard to ship. It's much easier to get them from somebody who will bring them to you in an ice-packed cooler, meet you somewhere like at a fish show, and hand them to you, and then you put them in your ice-packed cooler, and then life is good. But enough of that. On with the Grindal worms. We'll see how they do over the next few weeks, if I can get enough to survive to get a good culture going and keep the mites out. So, thank you for watching.